Hey guys, Ray from Love You RV and Boat. A little boat maintenance job today. I got to change the oil in the injection pump on our Ford Lehman 120 horsepower diesel engine. So most of the time there's not much maintenance to do. I change the oil. The oil's fresh when we leave, and we don't really put much more than 150 hours during the season, so it's usually once a year I'll change the main engine oil. But there is a little injection pump that has its separate oil reservoir, and the manual says to change it every about 50 hours. Some people say more like 100 hours, but I'm right around 70-hour mark, so I'm going to pull it out and show you the change job. It's a little convoluted just by the location of the drain plug. But to get at everything, I pull the floor up. So to access the engine, I can pull a couple hatches up, and I can pull this table off and get that hatch off, and that'll give me lots of room to work. There we go. Access ready to go. So the oil I want to change is inside this puppy here. It's a Sims injection pump, mechanical injection pump. Fuel comes in there, gets high pressurized and through these tubes into the injectors and into the diesel engine. So on the side there is a screwed up, kind of a nut screw to undo. It's to check the oil level, and then underneath is the drain nut screw, and then there's a screw on top where you pour the oil in. A couple tools I need, wrenches to take off, couple of screws, a nice big flathead for that top one, and then I use a bag to catch the oil. It doesn't really take much oil. I think it's around 14 ounces, so not a whole lot of oil to deal with. It's just trying not to kind of let it drip on things and end up down in the bilge. So I have a couple of oil absorbent pads here that I use to catch any oil that may drip. And I kind of got to squeeze down in there. It's not too bad, but kind of do some engine yoga involved to get down in there, and we can change that oil. Okay, so here's the underside of the pump, and right down here is the little drain plug I have to undo there, and you can see my problem is this water line comes pretty close to it. Now I did change this as the raw seawater pump. The original was kind of routed a different way, but this is an improved version, and it actually solved a persistent oil leak that would happen on its gasket. So it's an upgraded pump, works really good, just makes this job a little harder. Now some guys, what they will do is they'll install kind of a little elbow in there and bring it out to a valve, and then they can just open the valve when they want to change the oil. And I'd like to get that mod done too, because you risk every time you take this out, you can kind of strip those shreds. It's an aluminum body here, so be very careful. You don't want to over tighten that little nut, or you can be in problem. Okay, so we'll pull that off and let her drain. Crap spot. Here we go. There we go. So now I just got to kind of hold the bag there and let the oil drain down. Looks like a little bit did get past the bag, but it's not the end of the world. I have a pad right underneath in the bilge that'll catch the oil. So yeah, I don't want to lose that little drain plug because it's probably an odd size and thread. And so I'd like to mod it and put in a little elbow there, and then I can have it in there permanently. Not have to undo it from the main chamber. So that should be pretty close. Get that oil out. The most important thing is to get it back in without cross-threading it or anything. So you don't want to over tighten that. So I just got it in there snug. I can always increase it a little more torque on it if it has a problem. But you don't want to go too far and strip that, that's for sure. Let's get rid of any excess oil. There we go. That's the hard part done. Okay, just got to undo that screw and put a funnel in there. And I'm just going to use some 15W40. That's what I use in the engine. I think original specs on this engine was like 30 weight, but I've heard a lot of people use this, and that's what I think the previous owner was using, and it's worked good enough. Pour some of that in, start it off. And I'll get down in there and undo the screw that tells me when the level is reached. Okay, so this is the level check nut here. Be careful, same thing, carefully undo that. It has a little copper crush washer on it too. Make sure I don't lose that. Now, as I fill this, when it reaches the level it should, it'll just start to weep out of that hole. So I just put down some oil absorbent pads there, catch any that may drip. A little bit more. There we go. I'm just going to let that kind of trickle out onto my pads until it just becomes a very slow drip. And we should be good to go. There we go. Just barely coming out now, so I'm going to put the screw back in. Same thing, try not to cross thread it. Yeah, and I just kind of snug those up. And we'll just put that top screw on. Same thing, not too tight, just enough to seal it. And then what I do is down in the bilge here, add a couple fresh pads down there. Then I can monitor it during the next run, see if we're getting any oil down there dripping. Have a quick look at the oil. It looks mostly like oil. What can happen with these pumps is the oil can leak away through the engine and out the exhaust. And what this pump will do is replace it with diesel fuel, which kind of has some lubricant to it, but not like oil does. So the main thing is to make sure the pump has good oil in it and doesn't get overloaded. Also, if it is starting to accumulate diesel in the oil, it'll kind of overflow itself, and that burns out through the exhaust. So that's a sign that the pump may need a rebuild or something like that. But this pump was isn't too old. I think it was replaced by the previous owner, so it's been a pretty good pump so far. Haven't had any issues. Until next time, Ray from Love You RV and Boat. Cheers, guys.